What's going on, everybody? Appreciate y'all joining us on another week of the Bolt Standard Podcast. Myself, Justin Harley, Dylan Martin, we're your hosts, and we just appreciate you being back for week two of our podcast. So super excited. Obviously, a lot of good things happened since the last time we were on here recording. A couple other things, not too exciting, kind of
Yeah,
disappointing, but we'll get into those. Dylan, what's going on, man? How you doing? How you feeling?
man, vibes are the vibes are different today after the news that we're gonna get into, but we're here, we're gonna talk about it, we're gonna have a good episode today.
Absolutely, man. All, as well as long as we bring the content. Like I said, the vibes, the energy is kind of a little off because of the news, but we make sure to bring our viewers the best content. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's get right into it, man. Let's just start
Yep.
off with the most recent news. Slater just got paid, 4-year extension, 114 million, torn patella tendon.
Man.
What was your like initial like reactions? I mean, you saw before I did. You had sent me the clip, man. What were you thinking?
Yeah, so I was locked in. I saw practice had started, so I was just doing my scouting from afar, checking Chris Rim, Daniel Popper, all the different accounts, a couple others that I follow that retweet videos they've been in from practice. So I'm just staying up to date, and then yeah, I get that pop up of Slater's down. Cart came out, and then he wasn't very happy about it afterwards, right? Throwing the helmet, slamming, and so
Yeah,
like you said, you saw the hugs isn't a good sign, right? Everybody came over to hug
yeah,
him on the cart. That's usually not a good sign. So immediate reaction, man. I was trying to stay hopeful. Maybe it was just something worse than expected, like a sprain, a really bad sprain, keep him out for a little while, like MCL type sprain, right?
hmm
Obviously, it wasn't that torn patella tendon when that officially dropped. Yeah, heart sank a little bit because that was probably the strongest position group on our team, right? That O line. I've listened to multiple podcasts, multiple people that have been to camp recently. Chris Sims, Albert Breer, anybody that's there, Kay Adams, anybody that goes there, they talk about how big this line is, right? That's the first
hmm
thing that gets talked about every time.
Yep.
They don't say, anything about, they talk about him, but they don't say Justin.
hmm
They don't say anything else about the team. The first thing everybody talks about how big this offensive line is, and so one of the biggest parts of that line is Slater, man, in that left side, that blind side for Herbert. You just mentioned he got paid that 4-year, $113 million deal, paid like one of the best tackles in the league, which he is. So yeah, it's tough. We have to figure something out from here. But yeah, initial reaction is just tough way to start um, the year, losing a guy as important as Rashawn Slater to this offense. I was thinking about it, and I think if he's not the second most important person on this team to lose to an injury, it would be third. Herbert would be the first one that if we lost him, that's a huge blow to this team.
Yep.
Obviously, you can't lose Herbert.
No,
Behind him,
knock on
it
some
was either
wood.
Slater or Derwin James, in my opinion, right? But when I think Slater is the second biggest piece to lose, because directly affects the number one piece,
For
right? If
sure.
he's not there, and then it affects Herbert being there, or possibly being in harm's way, stuff like that. So I think we lost probably the second most important person on our team today, and that's a tough blow.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, man. Like I said, a lot of just obviously before the news, I mean, everything that was kind of just going on, seeing Keenan Allen walking to the field, kind of strutting, jogging with
Right.
with his pads, man. It's like, man, vibes are high, man. Like we had a last week, great win over the Lions, and it's preseason, but I don't care, man. Great win, team looked great.
Hmm.
Keenan Allen's back. I mean, all that stuff, man. It's just like Slater done. Oh my goodness, yeah. Like I said, man, initial reaction not good. I mean, but like you said, I mean, it's like all the different reporters have been saying. I mean, you look at the team, and it's that O line was definitely a strength of ours. I know we have some issues on the interior left side of that O line, but you look at the tackles, you look at bringing in Mekhi Becton. I mean, that O line was is based on how it looked last year, it was a lot better this year. Yeah, we still
Yeah.
have those two areas where even I think in year two, I mean, I think they probably could make a jump and be a little bit better than they were last year. But those were the trouble spots. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, just super bummed about that. I mean, I think. I mean, ultimately, I mean, it's next man up. I mean, the one thing I do get a little scared about is, the things that Harbaugh kind of says. I mean, he knows that, Pipkins that's our swing tackle. So, I mean, I just hope that like we don't just rely on Pipkins. I hope that we bring somebody else in. We do something different. We give Jamari a shot because I mean Jamari Salyer was solid as a rookie when he filled in for
Mhm.
Slater when he tore his biceps
Hmm.
back in I think what was that 2022.
Yep.
And it's like I look at that and I'm like, man, give some other people a shot. I mean, don't just rely on Trey. Trey has shown through and through. Yeah, versatile. He can play right guard. He can play right tackle. He can play left guard. You probably can put him at left tackle, but he don't do it good.
Yeah.
Like I'm me personally that I wouldn't want to rely on that. So I do hope that they give Salyer a shot. I do hope that maybe they even bring somebody else in. Maybe they bring in and no, I'm not even saying you have to bring in a tackle. Just improve that left side of the line so that we can feel comfortable. Because me personally, and I know me and you talked about it, and I see different varying reports. I don't want to move all from the right to the left.
Yeah.
I would rather keep him at the right. You move him from right to left. Now you got issues at right tackle. You got issues at left guard. You got issues at center. I'd rather the issue be on the left side and they try to patch it.
Yeah.
You keep Alton and Becton together. Okay, formidable wall, run, block. We know we're going to be good.
Yeah.
Left side, go get a left guard. Go get a left guard. Go get a set. Well, probably won't be able to get a center, but get a left guard so that we can patch that. And now, okay, now you put Disley out there, which we know he's one of the best blocking tight ends, if not the best blocking tight end in the league. Keep him on that left side. I mean, he can't always be on the left, but you scheme it up. So, I mean, that's on Harbaugh. It's on Roman to figure out. But that's just my take. I really don't want them to move all from right to left. I feel like they're probably going to.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna put Trey at that right. But then I just look at a line that looks kind of like last year, but
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you got Becton in there, but I mean, Pipkins is a, a very big downgrade from Alt or Slater. So I think the line definitely is going to get a lot worse with Pipkins inserting there. So
Right.
that's just my takeaways. But I don't know. Doesn't look good.
Yeah. I lean the other way as far as what to do with all. That's probably the biggest question now as far as that tackle spot as are we going to keep him at right or left? I think that blind side is just super important. You gave really good examples when we talked over text about teams that leave their probably better tackle at the right tackle spot and not on the blind side. So I think that's a fair argument. Early report I saw from Chris Rim was that they're planning on moving him to the left side.
Mhm.
So, and he that was his natural position. He played that in college. I
Yep.
think he filled in at left tackle last year when Slater was out against Pittsburgh.
He
So,
did.
we've kind of seen that's what he'll do. And we slid Pipkins to right tackle and forgot who played right guard for him for Pipkins last year.
Yeah.
Same thing will probably happen this year now that this happened. Alt to the left side, Pipkins to the right. But I kind of would be okay with Alt staying there because I would have loved to see that wall on that right side. Just that size of Becton and Alt next to each other. 6'7", 360 of Becton, 6'8", 350 of Alt, just moving people on that right side. I was dreaming of RB Power to start the year, running to the right, and boom, up in smoke already. So it'll be interesting to see the pivot we make. Reports look like it will be all on the left side to protect that blind side, which is
Yeah.
important. But yeah, Pickens started at right tackle for us in 2022 and 2023, so he's been
Mhm.
there. But like you said, it wasn't great play from him there. It was probably average to below average play. Um, Maybe he's better. Maybe it's a more better system for him that we run the ball, so he's not left on an island to pass block all the time. We'll see. Jamari
Yeah.
Sawyer is an option. He did really well, like you mentioned, when Slater tore his pec, and Pipkins was already the other starter. So
Yeah.
if Pipkins isn't getting the job done, who says we don't just plug Sawyer in and be like, "Hey, man, we need you. Step up." Next man up mentality, but um, yeah, definitely a blow that is tough to see go down to that O line, which I was so looking forward to see moving people off the ball, especially on that right side.
For sure. And you make a good point too, not to, keep going back and forth about the O-line stuff, but you make a good point too about, the scheme. I mean, Yeah, maybe it just wasn't a good scheme for Trey, and
Yeah.
hopefully with the more emphasis put on running the ball, that there's less opportunities for those pass rushers to just know like, all right, well, this is a team that wants to gun, they want to sling it, so we're pass rushing to the max. I mean, maybe it allows Trey to have a little bit more of a better scheme that he fits more, it's more of a balanced scheme where it's not just like, predominantly passing because that's what we were in those other years. I mean, you look
Yeah.
at how we played football. I mean, we didn't have a dominant run game. We didn't have a good run game at all. So what we did, we slang it all over the place. So maybe that helps. But yeah, no, let's bring the energy up a little bit. I mean, like I said, we've been talking Slater,
Yeah.
wishing the best for him and hopeful for a speedy and no issues during his recovery.
Yeah.
Um,
Prayers for a full recovery, man.
but the Slayer is back, man. Keenan Allen, KA13 is back in the building on a really good contract too. 1 year, 8.52 million. I'm sure. I mean, they haven't broken out the whole contract, but I'm sure it's probably maybe like 5 mil guaranteed, probably 5.5 guaranteed. The rest maybe incentives, but regardless, I think it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Excited to have him back. Was just super stoked to me because it's like you just look at like our room. We talk about it all the time, man. We got this youth in this room, and the potential is through the roof, but
Yeah.
don't have that veteran. Well, we had it, but then he retired. But now we got a veteran again back in the room.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited, man. Just I don't know, man. I just look at our pass catching group. I look at all of our playmakers on that offensive side, and man, we have a considerable boost based on last year at all positions.
Yeah.
So I'm just stoked, man. But what were you thinking about Keenan Allen, man? When you seen, obviously, we talked about it on the podcast, like, hey, man, we got an
Yeah.
exciting visit, like probably right when we get off, and
Yep.
boom, next couple of days, Keenan Allen back in business. So what were you thinking?
Yeah, I'm super happy to have Slayer back in the mix in the wide receiver group. Like you mentioned, really good deal for him. A lot better for us than having to pay him 30 last year. Um,
Yeah,
It's going to be great to have him back out there, though. Him and Ladd on the field at the same time, and then you throw Trey Harris, KLS, Quentin are those other three. So that gives us really solid five receivers. You mentioned we had the veteran and Mike Williams, and then he retired. I think most Charger fans will agree Keenan is an upgrade over Mike Williams. Probably would have preferred to have Keenan over
for sure.
Mike. We signed Mike for whatever reason, but I think there's more left in Keenan's tank. Because Mike tore his ACL with us and then did nothing last year with Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Keenan had a solid year last year. Wasn't nothing crazy. I think about 70 catches with Chicago.
and
Um,
Chicago was a mess.
Yes, and Chicago's a mess. They had Rome, they had DJ Moore, they had a rookie QB that had no offensive line. So
Mm,
I don't take his stats into account too much from last year. I'd rather focus on what he did with Herbert and someone he knows. And that year before, I mentioned on the last pod, but I'm gonna bring it up again. 13 games in 2023, 108 catches, 1,243 yards, and seven touchdowns. So
13 games is
it's
is
definitely a
wild.
possibility that he comes back and is ready to go. But we don't need that version of Keenan again. Is the most important part. We have Ladd who broke out last year. We have a vertical threat in QJ. We have a second round rookie who's expected to make an impact, and we have another guy, KLS, that's already doing big things that should get him on the field. So we don't need him to be Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. We just need him to be a reliable target, which we already know he is. That connection with Herbert.
Yeah,
So super happy to bring a guy back that deserves to finish his career with the Chargers and hopefully on a high note on a playoff team, on a winning team. Him going out the way he did was such a good year statistically, but such a bad year team wise. Mess of a front office with Staley and Telesco, and then
yeah.
all that nonsense that went on to finish that year with how bad it was with him being injured and Herbert being injured. So glad to have him back. Second all time in Chargers history, 904 catches, 10,530 yards, just behind Gates in both categories. And he'll probably catch Gates in catches. He's only 51 behind. So he might be the all-time Chargers leader when this season's all said and done if he can get 52 catches. Yards, he won't catch Gates this year, but if he gets back another year, then possibly.
Hey man, you never know. He might turn back the clock, and I don't know. He might see something from him. I don't know. He might be really motivated. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But
He
no,
mentioned having a chip on his shoulder too by that market not being there in his post practice press conference today. Um,
yeah,
he mentioned having that chip, which I love because it wasn't like we just signed him and we get this reunion and all
mhm,
this good things. We get those good feelings, but we get it with the thing with him feeling like, yeah, I have something to prove still. Like,
for
wasn't my
sure.
best year last year for multitude of reasons we explained. coming back home, but to win and to prove that he still has something. And so I think he's going to be a great addition.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, man. I had a funny reference, man. You ever seen I mean, you probably have. I mean, we both got, daughters super young. You ever watch Shrek?
Of course.
You watch the third Shrek. I'm not sure if you know what I'm talking about, but there's a scene where I think it's Prince Charming, and they're on the stage. It's towards the end of the movie, and he takes the sword and he stabs Shrek with it. So Shrek goes down. He's like holding it, and you think that he really stabbed Shrek. That was me when Mike Williams retired.
Mm,
And then, maybe like a minute or two goes by, and then they're looking at Shrek, and then you see Shrek kind of raise his head up and like smirk because he didn't actually stab him. So he caught the sword to the side of him. He didn't stab him, so he looked his
yeah.
head up and he makes a smirk.
Uh-huh.
That was how I felt when we signed Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
So I got stabbed. I was like, oh my goodness, no Mike Williams. And as soon as I heard Keenan Allen, face just rose up, and it was just
Mhm.
immediate, like, oh, we're good. Like, come on now. Like, so yeah, I had to bring that up, man. It was so funny. I had saw a couple different posts, and I was like, man, that reference right there, that's exactly how I felt. So that was just
Yeah,
something I just had to throw in there, man. And I just love Shrek too. They got Shrek 4 coming out next year, taking my daughter for sure. So
for sure.
absolutely, man. But yeah, so let's jump into the next topic. So I know that we've been kind of talking about just different players and, whether it's rookies or whether it's, veterans who are kind of, fighting for a spot and different things like that. But let's talk a little bit more about the position groups. Let's talk about what do you think up until this point? So obviously, going into preseason, really preseason week 1, but 2 for us, because we had the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah.
What do you think? Give me your strongest position group up to this point and give me your weakest position group up to this point.
All right. Yeah. So strongest, I almost would have said offensive line, even though we had those issues before, but that's out the window now. So let's just throw that away.
Yeah, tear that up.
I'm, yeah, I had to scratch that out. I had to redo my notes just about before this podcast just for that topic. Um, but I'm gonna stay in the trenches though. When I did look it up, that D line is massive as well. We talked about how people walk in and see how big that offensive line is, and that's probably just from that height perspective as well too, right? We got two giants with all and Becton. Bozeman
Hmm.
isn't small either. He's 6'5", 325. Everybody talks about Zion being a physical freak, but we look at the D line and just strictly interior, I feel like we have so much size, right? We have Naquan Jones, Otito, we have Deshaun Hand, Tier Tart, Jamari Caldwell in the third round. That's five guys right there that
Hmm.
none of them are under 300 pounds or 6'3". So we got size. Jamari, I think, is going to be an impact guy that will probably take a lot of snaps by the time we get into week 4, 5, 6. He's already flashing. He looked really good in that Lions Hall of Fame game.
Yep.
Um, Minter was just talking about him again today, talking about when he's not double teamed, he's usually making a play.
Yep.
So, talking about working on fighting through those double teams, fighting off those double teams. Just a special talent. They're talking about third round pick. So, I think that D line interior with the size, and then you add the ends. We have Khalil Mack. Not a lot needs to be said about how great Khalil Mack is. Still one of the
Future Hall
top
of Famer.
100 players in the NFL, future Hall of Famer. Tooley should have a breakout year, being on the field more often, with Joey being gone and the expectations being higher. I would love to have a stronger third and fourth pass rusher. So when they're both off the field, I like Bud Dupree. I think he's a solid veteran and he'll have an impact. But we still need that fourth guy. You talked about Kennard. We have Caleb Murphy that's been talked about having a good camp. Did got a couple pressures in the Hall of Fame game. So I would love to have maybe one more impactful edge rusher.
Mhm.
But as a whole, when you talk about beef on the inside to stop the run, plug the run, and then a couple impact guys to get after the quarterback, and then you think about um, it's not just going to be those two rushing the quarterback, right? We send Derwin all the time. Henley
Absolutely.
is going to be an improved pass rusher this year, so I think that D line is probably our strongest group.
Okay. Um, let's see. In terms of strengths, I mean, I had two of them that I was kind of juggling back and forth. Um, the two that I teetered with were wide receiver and safety. Because safety, I mean, our safety group is really good when you look at it. I mean, honestly, top to bottom too. I mean, if you were to add in Tony Jefferson and even RJ Mickens has been showing some really
Yeah.
good things in practice, training camp, and even in the Hall of Fame game too. Some really good open field tackling skills.
Yep. Touchdown
Um,
saving tackle.
is that just being in the right place at the right time? And he's an older rookie too. I should have I thought I had it down, but I want to say he's 25, almost 24, 25. So like he's an older rookie. He's not someone who's 21, 22 years old. He's an older rookie.
Yeah.
So coming right into it, I mean, he's got tons of game reps. Like he's been playing for a while. So um, just looking at that, but I think the strongest though to me, it was after Keenan Allen signed. But I think that wide receiver room is definitely a big strength for us. I mean, you just look at, like I said, our top five. I mean, and yeah, you got some unproven guys because they're rookies and Trey Harris and KLS, but Ladd, I mean, we saw what he did as a rookie. We set all these records last year for the Chargers and just as a rookie in general, especially with the playoff receiving record for a rookie,
Yep.
yards in a game. But then you got Keenan, who's back. I mean, the route god. I mean, you can't cover him, and if you're in zone, he's going to find a soft spot. Then you got QJ, who's yeah, everybody likes to bag on QJ. Yeah, he has his drop issues, but he's showing progress every year. First year got thrown kind of into the fire because Mike got hurt. I mean, it is what it is. Chalk it up to the game. Second year, big jump. Third
Yeah.
year, who knows? And then
Yeah.
especially with the production of Ladd and Keenan, they could take a lot of pressure off QJ, and you could probably and he can probably do a lot of those things that are much more natural to him. So I mean, and like I said, and the potential from those two rookies, I mean, Trey Harris, KLS, to me. And I mean, I feel like everyone else should see it too. This is definitely the best group of pass catching receivers that Herbert has had since he came into the league.
Yeah.
Second year into the league, he threw for just over 5,000 yards. I think it was like 5,014. But a big bulk of that was Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, and Austin Eckler, who had like 700 yards receiving.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, and outside of that, then you had Jalen Guyton, you had some Josh Palmer. I think Josh Palmer was a rookie that year. Um, so to me, this is his best group of pass catchers. And if even if just one of those two rookies show that, hey, I'm here and I'm doing things, that's going to be a scary group because you got tight ends as well that can play. So
Yeah.
and then you got to run in a running game too. So it's just all those little things that come into it. But I think receiver is the strongest for us. What would you say the weakest group is?
Yeah. Weakest. I'm going, you know, I was gonna go DBs, but I think I might just have to go with that left guard center combo. I know that's not a whole group,
Yeah,
but I think it's even more exemplified now with what we talked about to start off this show. Zion and Bozeman coming into the year off the year that they had, which wasn't stellar, and then especially that playoff performance. Um, we have so much riding on them too to be important for us, and now the fact that we have Pipkins being thrown into the fold instead of Slater, I think I'm gonna just. I know it's not a whole position group, but I'm just gonna call that interior offense, that left guard center combo, probably our weakest spot. And I think our whole season rides on is one of them able to step up? Is Zion able to play with that first round pick? Can Bozeman give us a better version of himself? Um, I know we have guys behind them, Andre James at center and waiting in the wings. I've heard he was doing better in practice, and then right after I hear that is when the offensive line starting group gets announced and finalized this week. So
Mhm.
who knows if competition is still able to happen or if changes could possibly be made if players aren't playing well. But I'm hopeful we don't see that because I feel like negative performances will lead directly to losses from those two because we need them to be able to run the ball because obviously we're going to be running between the tackles. Yeah, we have guys that'll get outside, but
Yeah,
we're a team. Roman's a guy that likes to run between those tackles. Harbaugh too. We want to be physical, and we still will be physical.
for
Um,
sure.
and them being a part of that is really important. So I'm gonna go with those two in that spot.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. I mean, I have two options, and they were one of the options. The O line. Like you said, definitely Keenan on that left guard and center combo. Um, but I'm gonna split your strength only because I like to kind of keep them separate. So D line, talking about like the interior D line, and then edge rusher. So I put edge rusher group as one of the weaknesses.
Yep.
Yeah, we got K Mac. I mean, K Mac, future Hall of Famer. I mean, like he's what is he? Well, I guess you could say one season removed because he had 6 sacks last year, but then he had 17 the year before that. I know he had six versus the Raiders in one game, but doesn't matter. Still had
No
17.
counts.
Still counts. But I think that that's a weakness of ours because when you look at it, we're top heavy. We're very top heavy. And if one thing happens, man, I got some wood right here I'm knocking on, but Thule, Khalil Mack, something happens, even if they're just a little nicked up and they're just not performing at, at their peak, that could be really bad for us. Like I said, I know we got a really good interior D line, which I do think that that's a strength for us as well, because that D line, like you said, it's massive. But I
Hmm.
do think that without having, yeah, Bud's the third edge rusher, but Bud to me isn't he's not he's good rushing the passer, but I feel like he's better as a run stopper, as an edge defender. He can get after the quarterback. He's done it all his whole career. But when I look at him, I don't look at him as like, oh yeah, he's a third down specialist. He's really not. He's coming in and he's probably replacing, either one of those edges,
Yeah.
but he's gonna play on first down, second down every now and then. He's not a third down specialist where I'm like, pin your ears back, get after the quarterback. That's not him.
Yeah.
So when I look at that room, I would love for Kyle Kennard to step up. I mean, what we saw from Caleb Murphy in the preseason game one. I mean, the special team performances, getting down the field, making plays. Like you said, he had a couple pressures. One of his pressures actually led to a sack for one of the D linemen.
Yep.
So he played really well. Maybe he's the fourth, ahead of Kennard right now. Maybe he even pushes for the third, maybe because he might have more upside than Bud. I don't know, but yeah, I would say that that's to me that's a weakness for us because I just think we're too top heavy, and we know the quarterbacks that we're going to have to chase around. I mean, if you want to rely on two edge rushers to do that the whole game, especially knowing that Thule expecting the breakout from him, I think you need a really good third edge rusher in that rotation, and I think Bud could be that. But to me, he didn't show it. They signed him, they re-signed him, they trust him, but I don't see it with Bud
Absolutely. I mean, great call on that top heavy, right? And then I think it directly impacts a group that I would have had as my weakest if I didn't pinpoint those left guard center, that DBs, because back there we're really unproven. And you know, it's a direct correlation between DB play is how the front can get after them, right? If your front seven can get after a quarterback, your DBs look a lot better. If the quarterback has all day to throw, your DBs look a little bit worse, no matter how great the group is.
for sure.
That's a good call because those edge rushers will either make those DBs look better or worse. Ultimately, I think it's great that we have a guy like Minter calling that defense because he can help hide some of those weaknesses we may have, whether it be those guys in the secondary or those edge rushers by his blitzes, different packages. We talked about the way Derwin James can get after the quarterback and be up there in the box. Henley's going to take another step forward in that aspect, I believe. I think for a position group to be a problem, I think we have a guy that can knows how to solve it with a Jesse Mentor.
For sure. No, great call out with the linebackers too, because I mean, and just not even linebackers, just Derwin James is like he don't even got a position. He's just a football player. But yeah, Henley even said it in one of his post conferences and one of the training camps. I think they were in San Diego at the time, and he was just talking about wanting to take that step forward as a pass rusher too. And they even showed a lot of clips of him working with Khalil Mack, Thule, working with Derwin James. On those pass rush techniques, different things like that. So no, like you said, having a mentor definitely gives you that peace of mind. Like, hey, I know it might be, we got one or two here and the third that looks like they're, okay, but mentor definitely gives you that peace of mind and just knowing like he's gonna scheme it up the right way to make sure that hey, if we're lacking in certain areas, he's gonna be able to hide those deficiencies. So no, that was a great call out.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess let's kind of wrap it up with obviously we got preseason game two for us. It's really preseason week one, but preseason
Yep.
game two for us versus the Saints. Let's kind of talk about that a little bit. Give me just some kind of what your thoughts are of that game coming up. Whether it's opposite side of the field, so we're looking at the Saints and maybe some things that you're seeing that they have that you want to see how our guys hold up, or some of our players, who do you want to see flash, or who do you think needs to step up this game? Especially being the second game. It's not our first game, so we've got a little tape. Like, who do you think needs to flash or step up?
Right. I think we'll probably be running back a lot of the same players if I had to guess in this game. Maybe week two, we'll see a couple more of those starters or proven guys for a series or two. Don't remember how much Harbaugh played them last year, if at all. I don't think Justin played at all because he was hurt.
Yeah,
But I think we'll probably see a lot of those same, those rookies will probably play just a little bit. Trey Lance will be at quarterback, and some of those other guys. So who I'm looking for, I'm not really too concerned what the Saints have going on over there. They're a pretty bad football team in general. And I'm not too high on them with Kellen Moore and Brandon Staley over there. We know
for
what they're
sure.
capable of doing or not doing.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I'm really more focused on us, and there's one guy I really want to see just a little bit more from, and I know he'll be out there probably for at least the first quarter or maybe the first half, just to get more game reps. And I want to see Junior Colson really flash for me. I need to see him either affect that run game a little bit more, maybe affect the passing game as far as get a fat pass deflection, an interception, something. Make a big play. I was watching some of the film and chatting with a buddy of mine, former college linebacker, and he was just saying that he still kind of just looks like the game's a little fast for him, right? So that he isn't really deciphering plays all the way, or maybe being a step slow on really getting through there. He made a good play last week where he got to the outside, but it wasn't behind the line. It was kind of yeah, 1 yard or two downfield, right? Whereas if a guy is really seeing that and attacking, he's hitting that ball carrier a yard behind the line of scrimmage or at that line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Um, so I want to see Junior Colson just do that. We have those expectations for him to be an impact player. He's been in the system with Minner. So Junior, I'm looking for something from him this week.
Really nice. Yeah. I mean, that's a player who I was gonna include on my list just because, like you said, just the knowing how he knows the system so much. I mean, what he's shown in college in the same system, in the same scheme, with the same coaches, Minter and Harbaugh. It's like, man, they didn't draft him in the third round for no reason. Like they know what this guy could do. It's just on him to kind of put it together. So no, I love that. Um, I had three on my list. I'm not gonna talk about all three. Well, actually, it's kind of two, and then I have like the O line grouped in there because I feel like the O line really needs to show something with these next couple of preseason games, especially with Slater going down. Like, okay, who's going to step up? Who's going to do what they need to? Because right now, there's snaps that are open, and I
Yeah.
feel like I said in the beginning, I feel like we cannot rely on just Trey Pipkins to be that right tackle. Yeah, he's a swing tackle. He's going to take it, whatever. But don't rely on him. If someone is outplaying him, please let them play over him. But my number one person is going to be Kyle Kennard because talked about that weaknesses in the edge rushing group. And I do think that I think he was working through something in my Jim Harbaugh. He's working through something. I think he was working through something last game and like just leading into that game because he just didn't look like he was really rushing the passer, and he didn't look like someone who had that get off, who can get after the quarterback. So I do think if I'm looking for someone, it's gonna be Kyle Kennard because that I really feel like that edge room needs it. And seeing his SEC tape and seeing what he was able to do in college, I don't see why he couldn't. So in game two, I'm really looking to see what Kyle Kennard can do.
Right. Let me throw another name at you real quick before we get out of here. Rocket Sanders had a big practice the other day, and
Hold on.
is
Oh,
he
let me
on
see.
there? Is he on there?
Hold on. You can't see it, but literally first on my list. But I'm like, you know what? Let me not even. I'm gonna go with my defensive guy because I like Kyle, man. So, but
Yeah.
first on
I
my
know
list.
behind OG, Rocket's been one of your guys you've been talking about for a while now. But after having a big practice and him being available for this game, would love to see him do something because Omarion's our guy right now, but outside of that, Kamani, we've seen what he can do, so it'd be nice to see if Rocket can just give us something a little bit more. Because the more I see from Najee, the less hopeful I am that he'll be of any value to us anytime soon. Yeah, that eye was closed. There was a
Yeah,
snap story that I saw yesterday that was sent
for
to me,
sure.
then I sent it to you.
Mhm.
And through expert analysis, aka zooming in on the photo,
Yeah,
his left eye was completely closed. And so, and Harbaugh even said, I saw on Twitter, he talked about something, Najee's using echolocation. So whatever that means, it means he's not using his eyes to run.
no,
So,
no.
Rocket, I would love to see if he flashed, runs the ball well, and stands out, and can maybe jump to that third spot and take Kamani's spot, or move him to the practice squad and be behind Omarion and Najee.
Yeah, no, I love that. Like I said, we talked about Rocket a lot too, and haven't been able to see a lot of him because he's been, working off to the side with trainers and stuff. So we'll love to see that too, because like I said, I mean, we know what Harbaugh and Roman want to do. They want to
Yeah,
run the ball. We got our bell cow. We got Omarion Hampton. Obviously, don't know what's going on with Najee, but so you really gonna need that number two. And it's like you look at how Rocket is as a running back. He's kind of just like them. But he's explosive though. So kind of more like Omarion Hampton as opposed to Najee, but
yeah.
he's big, he's explosive. So you have another one of those backs that could just wear down that defense. So no, that's a great. Like I said, he was number one on my list, but I'm like, let me go with the defense instead. But no, that's a big point out right there. So And that's what we're relying on, man. Running that football, setting everything else up. So nice call.
Yeah, big part of our game. So yeah, that's gonna be this Sunday. Chargers week 1. Saints are coming to LA, so we'll be at home. Be nice to be at home after playing week 1 in the Hall of Fame game with those vibes. But yeah, so hopefully some of the Bolt fam will give us some energy. We'll be tuned in. We'll be locked in. Take some notes. Talk about it a little bit on next week's episode here for you guys on the Bolt Standard. But if you're still here with us, give us a like, leave us a comment, drop a bolt in the comments for us. Let us know what we're doing right. And we appreciate you guys being here. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until we see you next Friday, bolt up.